You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Trump aide's estranged brother reveals dark family secret he refused to keep, based on an article by Alexander Willis. Loyalty to power, lies to family. Source of the story. The reporting here is not really about one family's private rupture. It is about Natalie Harp, a 34-year-old Trump aide whose proximity to the president reportedly unsettled the White House, and the way that closeness appears to have reorganized her personal life around secrecy, estrangement, and denial. Her brother says she and their mother wanted to misstate their father's death. Relatives describe fallout, blocking on social media, and a family that fractured around Trump world allegiance. The actual center of power. The institutional power in this story sits with Donald Trump. Harp is not the source of the power. She is a conduit to it. Her value, politically speaking, is access. That makes her less a mere staffer than a loyalty instrument. Someone whose closeness to the president matters enough to unsettle the White House and, by extension, to reshape the incentives around her. That matters because the story is being framed as family messiness when the real issue is how proximity to power trains people to treat truth as negotiable. In this ecosystem, the president's orbit is not a workplace. It is a loyalty regime. Secrecy is a habit, not an accident. The most revealing detail is not the estrangement itself. It is the reported proposal to say Harp's father died in his sleep, even though the death was ruled a suicide by a coroner. That is not confusion. It is image management. It is the instinct to replace an unwelcome fact with a softer version that preserves status, comfort, and control. That instinct is politically familiar. The powerful do not just conceal scandals, they normalize concealment as prudence. Once that logic takes hold, even a family death becomes something to be edited for audience consumption. What the reporting leaves soft. The article gives us family members talking to the Daily Mail, but the wider significance is clearer than the piece's gossip frame suggests. The brother says he cannot understand why anyone would want to work for Trump. That remark is emotionally blunt, but politically it points to the same thing the article skirts around. Trump's world does not merely attract supporters. It demands rearranged loyalties, strained judgment, and a tolerance for reality management that bleeds into ordinary life. The framing leans toward personal dysfunction, but the pattern is institutional. When a political operation rewards devotion over honesty, the costs do not stay inside the office. They travel home. The pattern behind the portrait. This is what modern court politics looks like in miniature. A president accumulates aides whose job is not only to serve, but to absorb the culture of his power. Family ties fray. Facts become optional. Public image outranks private truth. Even grief gets processed through the logic of loyalty. That is the larger story here. Not a bizarre family dispute, but the social damage done when power is built around submission, concealment, and personality. The lie about a death is a small thing only if you ignore what produced it. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Ross Story for today's article, with the automated voice of Ryan. Thanks for listening.